Hello, we are Chris Lee and Jay Greason of Southeastern 16, which is presented by FanDuel, here to tell you about Mississippi State's matchup with Alcorn State, 5 Central on the SEC Plus. So have your cable package ready and your ESPN app open, because that's where you're going to see this game. Jay Greason, no line on this at FanDuel. My computer composite models got Mississippi State by about 30.5. Big game for Mississippi State. Starkville, the city, stormed the field after this one. Got fined $500,000 for that, did Mississippi State. Don't think there'll be any field storming in this one Saturday in Starkville.
Not unless the smattering of Alcorn State Braves decide to just come out there and say hello to some of their buddies. But no. And, well, there'll be a storm on the field, but it'll be in the first 45 minutes of what really looks like a mismatched football game.
Yeah. Hey, the more that I look at State and watch State play this year, it has been a tough rebuild for Jeff Lebby for all the reasons Mississippi State fans know. And sometimes you have to go Moneyball in the portal. I really like what they have done with this roster. You look at the accolades are starting to come in. You've got Albert Reese was the SEC Offensive Lineman of the Week last week. Nick Mitchell, the co-SEC Defensive Player of the Week. So you're starting to see guys pop. I look at what they did in the portal. Brennen Thompson, who was, a bit player at Oklahoma. Anthony Evans, who didn't play much at Georgia, are their top 2 receivers. They're making a lot of plays. They got Davon Booth and Fluff Bothwell out of the portal. And, of course, Blake Shapen, who they got out of the portal from Baylor 2 years ago. State has really started to put together a defensive and offensive identity. And really, you look at these pickups Jeff Lebby made in the portal, they weren't guys we spent a lot of time talking about other than maybe Jeff Lebby.
Well, Brennen Thompson probably should have been SEC Player of the Week, and that's with everybody in our network and platform has done everything in their power to give John Mateer all the flowers we possibly can on a weekly basis. The kid was great in a big game. But you can't tell me Oklahoma's win over Michigan was any bigger for their program, and it was against a lower-ranked foe than Arizona State. And Brennen Thompson saw this stat on Pro Football Focus, and this one's cool. All right, you're a numbers – I'm going to be polite here. You're a numbers guy.
Thank you.
Could have gone nerd, could have gone a different –
It's okay. It is what it is.
It is what it is. So what in the NFL quarterback efficiency rate, a perfect score is 158.3, right?
Yeah.
When Blake Shapen threw the ball to Brennen Thompson on Saturday in the upset over Arizona State, Blake Shapen's quarterback rating was 158.3.
Wow.
He was statistically perfect when he made the decision to throw the ball to Brennen Thompson.
Man. Well, hey, it's been a quarterback's year. There's been a lot of big-time quarterbacks. He's one that kind of got forgotten about. Arizona State won't be forgetting about him, and a lot of college football won't after the way they've started. Just love what they've done offensively. Defensively, again, they built an identity with guys in the portal. Is the rush defense perfect? No. Did it make some big plays for them a week ago at key times? Yes, it did. Now, look, here's the damper on the whole weekend. Will Whitson, who was playing great, a guy we spent no time talking about preseason, 5 tackles for losses, was the SEC Defensive Lineman of the Week 2 weeks ago against Southern Miss. He's now unfortunately done for the year. But State already didn't have him in the second half of the Arizona State game, so they gotten a little used to playing without him. Nick Mitchell, linebacker, picked up the slack. They got a safety that's an NFL prospect, and Isaac Smith too, who's been fantastic. You're starting to see it pop on that side of the ball for them too.
I think Isaac Smith may find himself into a first or second day type of NFL draft pick because offensively you look for guys who make a ton of plays. If you do that defensively too, I'm not saying that's not important. But what you also look for defensively are erasers. Isaac Smith is so good at what he does, especially coming towards the line of scrimmage, that if you may have a guy in the defensive front seven, you may have a guy at corner who gets beat on a route. Well, either coming forward or going backward, Isaac Smith erases mistakes. And that is so valuable to a complete defense that, I mean, I think he's got a great NFL future. Now, I also think Jeff Lebby got like the best gift in the world on Saturday. And I'm not just talking about a W. He got a W, and he got a second half game tape loaded with coachable moments. The offense started sputtering, where they had 5 second half drives, and 4 of them ended in a punt, and one of them was turnover on downs. Arizona State started really attacking the line of scrimmage offensively. So, and unlike a whole lot of the rest of this league, look, there are like 2 or 3 monster games on Saturday in the SEC. And the rest of them feel like 5th graders fighting kindergartners. So it is, but a whole lot of those 5th graders taking lunch money from the kids in Miss Jones's kindergarten class. There's a real fear across this league about the look-ahead factor in places like Auburn and Oklahoma and some others. They've got Northern Illinois next week. So it's not like they're going to completely ignore Alcorn State. It's at home. I think they build off the momentum. There'll be twice as many people there this week as there would have been without this 2-0 start. So they'll be juicing in the building. Look, whatever the number is, I don't see it being a hurdle for Mississippi State, especially if you get an opportunity to play early numbers, first quarter, first half, those type of things.
Yeah, I referred to last week as a proof of concept game for Jeff Lebby in the program. And I was actually talking to a friend of mine at church. We have a few Mississippi State friends where I go in the Nashville area.
Do they bring the cowbell to church? Like when
they do not. Fortunately, I don't think that would go over well.
Ding, 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 ding.
Well, our pastor's a Mississippi State fan, so he might understand if anybody did. But yeah, hey, he said, we didn't have to win this game. But it's like his thought was State just needs to play well and prove that it belongs on a field with a team like Arizona State. State got that and more. It also got excitement. The building was lit. Yes. The goalposts, like you got publicity in droves if you're Mississippi State, which helps you in recruiting. Now, is this week going to help them build a lot more momentum? I don't think so. I mean, it's a mismatch. We'll get into some numbers in a minute, but it is an opportunity, like you said, to play some young guys. Look, spoiler alert, we'll get to picks in a minute, but Alcorn State has lost to Alabama and A&M. It beat Northwestern State, which is maybe one of the worst teams in the FCS. It's been penalized 24 times for 195 yards. It's turned it over 5 times. It's got a quarterback who's 6'2", $175, who's thrown for 350, and a tailback who's run for $116. Yeah, I think this is an opportunity to play some guys, maybe rest your quarterback potentially, and move forward with another one in the win column.
I will say this about trajectory and momentum. Lebby needs that within the walls of his program as much as he needs it regionally, nationally, across the conference and everything else, just because it's been so difficult. And last year, the lug nuts came off. There's value in showing up. Look, you pulled the upset last week, and it was awesome. We'll have a whole different show, maybe a members-only show on it's now time to quit storming the field. Auburn shouldn't be storming the field when they beat Texas A&M in overtime. Mississippi State shouldn't be storming the field when they beat a Big 12 school. I don't give a doggone where they're ranked. Look, I get it. It was exciting in the moment, all of it. It's expensive, and moreover, it's dangerous because you're coming across a whole lot of big dudes who are really pissed off, who are 18 to 22-year-old kids. So it's just dangerous. But Mississippi State coming out and punching Alcorn State in the helmet and seizing control of this game, the elevation factor of momentum is important here because I frequently turn the word momentum into inertia. If you're moving, you have a tendency to keep moving, whether you're forward or down. But if you stop and you win this game 17-13 and everybody walks out of there going, God, here we go. There's value to Jeff Lebby to put half a hundo on the Braves. Look, you're writing them a check to show up and get punched in the helmet. Punch them in the helmet.
All right, before we get to whether we think State will punch them in the helmet, let's remind you we're brought to you by GameTimeSidekicks.com, officially licensed stainless steel drinkware, all SEC schools, 350 other universities, plus everything from stainless steel sippy cups, tumblers, 40-ounce bottles, and shaker cups. SE16 gets you 20% off your entire order at GameTimeSidekicks.com. Also brought to you by Rockform, that is ROKFORM. It makes the world's strongest magnetic phone case. It has extreme protection, super strong magnets, and Rock Lock secure mounting. September is the busiest month of the year with the new iPhone release. Go to SEC25 for 25% off your entire order at rockform.com. Also, Hovey Dry Goods, your new favorite hat. Look no further than Hovey hats for high-quality headgear. You can see Jay Greason wearing his Auburn hat. Great fit, unique designs. The Bad Beat T of the week last week was Ole Miss, which caught a field goal in the back half of that game, did not cover. So promo code REBS, REBS. Sorry if it hurts the ears of some of our viewers, but you'll get through it because you get a discount on your hats at Hovey Dry Goods. That's HOVI drygoods.com. Jay Greason, I don't see any reason this game should be close. The athletes, the size of the quarterback, the lack of discipline for Alcorn State, even if State is looking ahead, it's got guys that are going to get a chance to play in a volume that they won't get the rest of the year. And guess what? They're probably going to be better than the players they're facing. Again, the 30.5 was what the computer model has. In this one, we don't have a line. I think it's more than that, probably 40 or more. I look for Mississippi State to have no problem here in this one.
I would be tempted to lay the 40 and into the 40s. But if I can find a FanDuel line first quarter, first half to seize control of this game, let your starters stay fresh, let them stay motivated, let them stay positive with the feeling after the upset of Arizona State. And look, I know a lot of Mississippi State fans. I got a couple of buddies up here on Signal in Tennessee, same way. I think Mississippi State has a resume through 2 weeks to be ranked. You go to Hattiesburg and you beat what was then the number 12 team in the country. I don't know. I mean, look, we believe in Missouri. I believe in Auburn, and I love it. A little shout out to the Auburn Creed there. And to the point that I'm now even being called an Auburn shill in some of our live conversations, and that's fine. But I'm just going to tell you what I think because that's the only way I know how to do this. But I think Mississippi State, I think I had them – I know I had them ahead of Alabama in our power rankings on what they've done through 2 games.
Yeah. Hey, if State wins this one, beats Northern Illinois, you could be looking at a college game day situation with Tennessee, September the 27th.
And Hail State, man.
Yeah. Congratulations to State on its win last week. We'll be here to talk about this one. Maybe not as much as some of the others because there's some big games. But, hey, State, you're going to get your love. You got it last week for sure. We will discuss this one when it was over, seriously. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. We do baseball, football, basketball year-round. For Jay Greason, I'm Chris Lee. God bless you. Thank you for watching. You've been watching Southeastern 16 presented by FanDuel.